like I said, feel at home. It goes to your CV because sooner rather than later we'll event here. We belong together. We welcome you. And we pray you have the strength and the fortitude to do just what you promised your constituents.
Enthusiastic, who is eager, who feels the pulse of the people and really want to do something exceptional. And I think it will be a great honor to have him here to share some of his insights. You know, it's hard to talk about someone behind a person. It's like,
I've heard your story. I know how you came to be here today based on the stories that I've heard. And it takes a lot of madness to be there. Madness, by madness I mean making a difference. So you're one of those who, so it's a special piece that I composed. I used to celebrate people that I think have done very exceptional things. But then tonight is also to remind you that you need to do more. Honourable Chinedu is a madman. Wait! Before your seats become hot stones that hit me in this marketplace of one. I do not speak of the madness that dances a mind down the streets begging resistance food to eat. The madness that raises dopamine above the shoulder of acetylcholine. I do not speak of the madness that dog early Sunday graves in Osopolo dropped in on 10th Street, threatening censorship on my last tweets. No. I do not speak of the madness that bombed Delay, the madness that shot Kudirat, the madness that left Babaigi on the bed. Madness. Thank you, sir. So, my piece wishes. But eventually you find yourself in the piece. Please respond with a whoop. I about the reality in my country where they will not pour perfume in the corridors of power and say that hands and noses are accessories of fashion. That the flows of America do not grind the poor, that IDPs are not victims of war. I pray for the day when priests will not make sermons out of the misery of the rich, or the notes of ransom that fly to the anger and evil forests. When they will not say, head or tail, the front is all theirs. For the promise of education that never arrived in schools, for jobs that sat like stools, for the heavy flows of converted bills by the accidental billionaire who said to the unemployed, don't look like fools. And the clocks did not lie, and they told the president how swiftly the plagues of poverty from the lagoon, and famished bellies do not scream, gone too soon. I wish my poems were not written with blood. The tragic tales of women who are dragged to early graves by childbirth. The colorful graffiti of wars and misery, crawling walls in public hospitals, where citizens lie like bloodied Caesar, gasping, reaching for life. Because healthcare hangs from sums that even misers can beat. I wish my poems never lied about hope. And the future will always stand taller than the past. And school, no be scam, will never roam faster than last. I wish my poems never lied about unity. And the fires of ethnicity are not as cold as ice. And religion is not a log in their eyes. But I pray for the day when hands will lead not only to mouths, but to dreams, to hopes, to opportunities, to reality. Fight you must, fight. But remember, flex your muscles within the sense of the law. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, when I said his name is Happy Prince, Father says things that is not too happy sometimes. Fight if you will, but within the ambit of the law. Is it possible to fight within the ambit of the law? We can see the fight going on in Gaza right now. Well, we don't ever pray for that. This is a we've seen you maybe at events at the Merit House. First, let me tell you that every event you see in the Merit House, this is the nucleus where it starts from. So it always begins from here. And then when it has been conceived from here, that's when you see the reflection at the Merit House. So I want at this stage to hand over the microphone to you, and thereafter maybe we can have some refreshments and then we informal. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, I hand over first to the Public Relations Officer. Maybe he
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and permit me to also greet all of us as comrades. We are of the Labour Party, which the Obedients are part of. This is a very encouraging interface of the core Obedients and Labour Party leadership. We are so delighted about this. Honourable Chinedu Obika and the chairman of the party, Honourable Emeka. Before then, the Labour Party was comatose. A division came, and there is promise in the Labour Party. Labour Party will be the platform that Nigeria will be sound. And as God will have it, it came to reality. Labour Party with the stout and solid and rock support of the Obedients, like all of us. It came for the first time in history. The party that denied every other leading political party presidential candidate 25% in FCT. Not only that, from virtually nothing, we didn't have even a council, federal capital territory. We won the only senatorial seat. In the House of Representatives, 2 slots. We won 2, but they somehow maneuvered the other. And that is why we are here today with Honourable Chinedu Obika. He paid a huge sacrifice. He made a huge commitment. He was fearless, fighting, determined. He went through a lot. And we know that without your support, we don't have been a success. So we thank you so much. We also wish that this interface will be something that will continue, so that the party mainstream will be able to accommodate, assimilate some of these your glowing attributes. I've seen some faces here. were in the battle, okay, or moving to the barricade, most of you were there. So we appreciate and will continue to praise you and continue to urge you. The Labour Party in FCT, it was the only chapter of the party that was accommodative of support groups and obedience. It couldn't have happened without these two gentlemen here. At the start of the process, there is a group that's still there, very vibrant. CPO, Coalition for People. We had an encounter with them. And we sat down, able to reach and understand them. And that is what fired the greater obedience. So thank you so much. Permit me to invite and call on the state chairman, FCT chairman of Labour Party, Honourable Peter Chukwuemeka Jiu. Speak to us. Thank you. 25%, chairman. 5/5.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, yesterday when the Right Honourable called me, that some professionals wanted to have an interface with him today. I said, why are these people coming? But reaching this place this night, I'm overwhelmed. I know actually they were the obedient professionals that helped us to do this work. The only difference there are times when you are having a partnership with some fellows. One person might try to run faster than other person, but at the time you come and equilibrium, which will have come in several occasions. No book house was built without some amendments. We appreciate that is why whenever I know at least 99.5% of these faces here, they were the people who were in the field. Some of you we knew that even the Honourable did not know. Because we are in the party office, we are in the field, where he's always on very strategic positions, doing one thing or the other. We are there in the field with you, doing the same thing. Because I always want to tell anybody who wants to hear or who wants to know that the most controversial state is FCT, where you have a lot of professionals, a lot of professors, captains of industries. 99% of the people here know what you know. Therefore, if we did not pray and put wisdom to what we did, our numerous points and meetings shall be counterproductive. But because the God we serve knows actually that Nigeria needed a change and was able to coordinate all of us together, both the party, the obedient groups, and whatever people, for us to come together and make a resounding result. It takes patience. It takes endurance. It takes perseverance. Most of you people here were not given anything. And you still walk and walk and walk. And after the mandate was stolen, you continue to push forward. It is not easy. It is divine. And that is why we are encouraged that the special grace of God, our labor will not in vain. It was not in vain because we got this net and good House of Rights. And we are going to get the 60 area council that is coming. I'm very pleased that even the obedience are not only on the side of obedience, they want to participate. And I can be here now to name 1, 2, 3 people here who have already indicated their interest to aspire for chairmanship, which means they don't get properly involved. They are no longer saying we're obedient. They are now saying we're obedient and we are Labour Party members that wants to run on this platform. So people will tell you before, it is only we are looking for. But when they saw the truth and what all of us have the same agenda, they want to participate. They want to run. They want to actively participate under this platform. And that is why Labour as of today is even growing more than it was before, no matter the shortcomings we had. If you go to the 6 area councils now, anywhere you see 10, 20 people meeting, it is Labour Party. And when the obedience started, they were saying, we are these people. Two people, twittering and one thing or the other. And the tempo continued to rise until we submerge them. That spirit is still right now. And that is why I want to be here this night and attest to the Honourable House of Press member that these men you see here are very reliable and they are the real men. And that is why I'm here talking. By my nature, if they are not the people, I will tell them, well, this sitting is being stage managed. But this sitting is real and it will going to grow in Jesus' name. May God bless all of us. And I have the single opportunity to call the man under the screen, the man we are watching, the man we want to hear from, the man that is holding the flag, the Honourable Chinedu Obika.
Let me start by, first of all, thanking my chairman, the chairman of Labour Party in FCT, who I just, within just few, like I said, I discussed with Mr. Piper 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, and after my first day of discussing with him, it didn't come to our mind that we should invite the chairman over. I think we talked about it just like, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday. And that night I called him. I said, Mr. Chairman, there's a group of members of Obedient family, and I would want you, please, to spare me your time. If you know where my chairman lives, shouldn't be out by this time of the hour. And Mr. Chair, I want to appreciate you and the PRO. I want to thank the great Obedient family tonight, starting from Mr. Piper, who took it upon himself to pay me a visit on my own invitation too. And Prof. and Doctor. I can't mention the names of the people here, but I can tell you that I know at least 65 to 70% of the cases that I'm seeing here. And I want to say something as well. Among everyone that I've seen here, within and during that period of electionary campaign, there is no one of you here that I have given a dime. A dime. For all the support given to this party, to me, to Ireti Kingibe, and to our principal, Mr. Putubi. So I want to start by appreciating you all. May God bless you for your doggedness, for your contributions, for everything that you have done. And that's why I know as a person that I have a heavy task ahead, knowing the type of constituency where I come from. Let me share this small joke. You know, in the House of Parliament, until I got there, I know whenever we come together as members of the House, the first thing some of these members who have been there maybe once or twice will say, ranking. And we start talking about ranking. That means they have to talk before you, they have to do this before you. They will know if you've been there twice or thrice or anything. One day I got mad about it. I said, look, there is something I want to say. That as far as Nigeria is concerned, I am the most ranking by vote. I got 201,000 votes to be elected as a member, House of Representatives. Some of you here got 17,000 and 20,000. If you put it together, and you should know the capacity and the kind of people that I'm representing. So for that, I am the most ranking. And I can be better addressed as governor rep, because that vote is some governorship in some states. You know? And who made it possible? These ones here tonight. So look for yourselves. Let me start this way. There was this young man that came to Abuja in 1996 on his way to travel and start a life in Germany. And all of a sudden, something happened, and that trip was not possible again. And it seems like everything has collapsed for that young man. But he picked himself up, and he was working with his sister, Fish, in a place called Chinedu Estate here, under Gwarinpa Ward. This was in 1996-97. And you know, during 97, Abacha ordered all the civil servants in Lagos to move down to Abuja. At that time, that was when Gwarinpa Estate was being built. Abacha did a lot. I know you cannot be perfect, but I can tell that this Gwarinpa that we are seeing today was built by Abacha. And it happens that we are staying at Chinedu Estate. And being who that young man is somebody that wants to contribute to his community anywhere he finds himself. Chinedu Estate was a new estate that time. Go there, sometimes the tap will not be running. You know, we use the word NEPA. Sometimes the transformer will have problem, and there won't be anyone to go out and make a case for these things. But being who I am, a squatter, sleeping on a coach in my sister's house, and we used to go to the NEPA myself and speak with them, go to the water board. You know, when there was security problem, I would gather the youths in the estate, and before you know it, I started Chinedu Estate a committee of friends. That's what I called it then. And from there, it turned into the Chinedu Estate Residents Association. As young as I was then, they made me the chairman. I was not having a house, I was not even supported. And yes, during that period, the early 98, Abacha died. And when Abacha died, before Abacha's death, there was election that took place here in 97, the local government election, and there was a runoff. It happens that one of the contestants, as of that time, was a sister of mine, and he came to Chinedu to seek for support. And I was, you know, part of her locality in Chinedu Estate. From there, Abacha died because Abacha transition was going on. We have, I was in UNPP. He was in UNPP though. was not participating in politics even. That was my first time. And Abuja died, and a new political dispensation was introduced as of that time by Chinedu Obika. And I joined People Democratic Party. I don't know anyone that much. But it was people like you in that estate. As one of them that said to me, Joshua, if you can take interest in solving our problems here, which happened to, then why don't you go and contest for the post of a councillor who will support you? And believe me, I didn't know how big and large the world is. Gwarinpa is one of the largest world. In fact, if you bring Gwarinpa into two, it's enough to be a local government. And it might interest you that Gwarinpa gives the vote of a local government in Abuja, like 2 local governments. The vote you get from Gwarinpa, if you bring Abuja and Bwari together, it's not up to that, but it's a simple electoral ward. Yes. And when I moved out, I was thinking that the Gwarinpa ward is just that Kaduna state that I'm saying. And I saw how big Gwarinpa ward is. Oh my God. I was somehow afraid. Can I be able to make this? But somehow, I believe that it's possible. And to cut the story short, without knowing anybody, I contested that election and I won. That was in 1998. And we waited for about almost 6 months before we were sworn in as elected members. That was in 1999. And we served from 1999 to 2004. And I left 2006 to live in US. But somehow I said to myself, what is going on in Abuja needs to be corrected. And somebody has to do that. I came back 2011. And another story there is that during that 1998 that I won that election, the chairman of the Labour Party was the secretary of my party in the local government. So we've been together politically for more than 26 years. And when I came back, we joined from PDP. Those days we joined APC. And we were in APC and we supported one of us that contested the election as the chairman, that is Adamu Abdullahi Kandigo. You know him, that was the former chairman of Abuja Municipal Area Council. I served as a councillor with him. He was a councillor when I was the councillor of Gwarinpa. He was the one representing Juma Ward. And my predecessor, the one that I took over from, was the councillor of Gwarinpa Ward. So we were all councillors there, under the chairmanship of John Esther Wood. APC before then has never occupied any area council position until that. And if you can understand the politics of Abuja very well, there is indigene, non-indigene politics going on. 2, if you come around indigene, you have the dominant ones. Tribes among them are the Baggies and the Gwandarans. Sorry, I'm not taking my time, but I have to give you. And the Baggies has been the one occupying these positions for a long time. But when we came, we supported Abdullahi candidate, and the candidate emerged as the chairman of Abuja Municipal Area Council. Under him, I served as the task force chairman, Arts and Transport. Because now it has gone back to the normal way they used to operate. When I was the chairman task force for Park and Transport, you don't go down in Otako here and the people will drag you to enter their buses, or you see any bus on the road loading. It's practically impossible. That was, when was that? Candido. Other candidate. I was trying to remember the particular. I think 2017? But after serving there for that period, what brought me back to PDP was P2P. Atiku picked P2P to be his vice presidential candidate in 2019. Then when I heard P2P speak, I said, for me, I don't play the politics of tribe. I supported Bwari Abuja in ANPP 2003. ANPP when Okadibo and Bwari ran on one ticket. I supported Bwari. I joined the ANPP then. Because I believe then that the man will do something based on his antecedents before that people believe that he's a no-nonsense man.
I will call you, I don't enter another program.
Then, and that was where I met Ajia Ireti Kingibe. You're welcome, my brother. No, come in. You're welcome. You're welcome, my chief. Yes. You're welcome. I met Ajia Ireti Kingibe. That was 20 years ago. Some of us here will think that maybe Ajia just came into politics just some days ago. She has been around. Since what I'm trying to show you people is some kind of proof. Ask me and Ajia Kingibe, and you can pass it around. That was 20 years ago. I was a councillor then. And she ran as a senator, and we have one of our brother called Uchu Kafu. He's late now. He was the one that also contested as member House of Representatives. And we know the level of work we did that time. Believe me, they won that election. But Obasanjo then was so brutal that he literally rigged the election all over the country and came back to power. So that was where I met Ireti Kingibe. So during this election, we weren't trying to be selfish about it. Even that time, Obi has not come into Labour Party. As Labour members, I can tell you that more than 6 years ago was when we first have this idea that using Labour Party to run election, that we can be able to win election in Abuja. Because what was going on then is that these two dominant political parties, our brothers, the indigenous people, will come. They are the ones holding the positions there. And once they block those two parties, you have nowhere to go. So your only alternative will be to go with either of them. And we started thinking of alternative platform that we can use to run an election in Abuja. That was when Peter Jogu, it's about 6-7 years ago, and the idea of Labour Party came in our mind, and we left APC to join Labour Party 6-7 years ago. And during this time, before Peter came into Labour Party, I have even done my primaries. Before Peter joined, it was about 3 weeks after I finished my primaries that P2B joined Labour Party. That day, I will tell you, I didn't sleep. Throughout the night, I was so happy. Because from that day, I know that a great change has come to the Labour Party. And the Labour Party changed. Now, let me cut it down. There are two groups of people that made this election possible. Without these two groups, this election wouldn't have been possible. One is group. The group of intellectuals and the people on their own who truly wanted change. So most of them, I can say more than 65% to 70% are not politicians. But because of the interest of people, it drew them into the party. And again, the real grassroots that are in Abuja, I tell you, if we had even that we didn't have these two combinations, we would have, this election wouldn't have been on our side. Because what happened in other states would have happened here. People will be up there, online, maybe going out, campaigning, talking to people. At the end of the day, when that election will come, you will see you will not be able to make it. Because you can have 1 million soldiers. If you don't have a good commander, I promise you, you can lose any war. With few soldiers that have a commander that knows the route, can be able to maneuver you. Our Bwari federal constituency have 22 wards. In these 22 wards, is just about 10 of them that are in the urban areas. More than about 12 are in the rural communities. And I tell you, those rural communities have their own high vote. If you don't know your way around these rural communities, it's easy for election to be manipulated and they can change the game. While you are in the city, shouting obedient that you have succeeded, they will go there and make you lose the election. And that was exactly what happened to the Abuja side. That was what happened to the Abuja side. So what am I trying to say? The combination that made this possible was because we have people who have known the political terrain in Abuja. In all these rural wards, we were able to hold them down using our people that we have there. And our people in the urban wards come with their votes. So they were not able to counter it. They have been able to counter it if there is nobody manning these rural wards. They would have penetrated. But now I don't think that we have. Without Abuja North, Ireti Kingibe wouldn't have been senator of the federal government. Abuja North is Amak and Bwari federal constituency. That was what gave her the vote that she used to win as a senator. that a lot of work has been done in the social media, and the people in the city are already giving us their own support. Support is high already. But we needed to work in the rural areas. For this, it's only, I can mention somebody like Daniel. I have the people that went with me, I have some of you here, that went with me from village to village, and we did rural area campaign. While you people were holding them down in the cities, we were able to hold them down as well. We held them down at the rural communities, and God gave us victory. And I have been looking to see the means, the true means that I can use to really gather these men, these powerful men, these men that did everything possible to make sure that we win this election. In other 10 wards, not that we didn't campaign in the wards or in the urban area, but I know what I'm talking about. And until Mr. Piper came, and we had a little discussion, and I said, yes, this is an avenue to get to them, to tell them that I appreciate them, and also to tell them what we are doing and what the plans for the future of Labour Party. Obedient family cannot separate itself from Labour Party. Labour Party is obedient. Obedient is Labour Party. I started that during the electionary campaign. I introduced what was called, or what is called, chapters. If you come to the structure of the party, you have the national executive, you have the state, and you have the local government. But when I looked at that structure and find out that most of these people that are really supporting this party are out of the party, they are not part of the structures of this party, then I introduced what is still called chapters. In these chapters were under the ward. The polling centers that are located in a particular area will form executive just as we have it in the ward or local government, the full executive, command and control those polling units. And with that, those big men in Obedient family was able to find a place to join at that grassroots level. They were the one even using their money to fund those chapters and make those chapters vibrant. That was how we were able to manage and protect our votes, and I gave it to you. But that's not the issue. Let me talk about our constituency. I've been here for years. I can tell you today that our hospitals, if you go to the true master plan of Abuja, Abuja was supposed to have, each district supposed to have a hospital. You know, when we come out, they will tell us about master plan. Their only master plan is to demolish maybe one thing or the other. But that master plan of implementing what is in the master plan by building hospitals and other things that the people need, nobody is talking about it. About schools, nobody is talking about it. But it's just a master plan where they can be able to break and they relocate to someone else. That is the type of thing they talk about in the master plan. Most of the hospitals in Abuja was built by the military. Go and find out. And the subsequent civilian administration are even unable to maintain or improve built by the military over the years. Go to our hospitals. If you go to Kubwa Hospital, you will see makeshift batters all over. Even the National Hospital was built by a batter's wife, a wife of the president. Yes, National Hospital. Today, that you can get to our hospitals, maybe a pregnant woman that can just deliver, even when the condition is not suitable, the doctors will discharge her to go home because there is no enough bed to accommodate her. In a state, just like Prof said, governed by the President of the Federal Republic. What a shame. This should be a base-setter state that other state governors will emulate from. In the same Abuja, more than 35 to 40% of our primary schools, mostly even the one that is located in the city, are not having enough shares for the students. Students study on the third floor. Go and find out. Abuja. Schools without roof over there. No sanitary places. A place governed by the President of the Federal Republic. The minister is just his administrative representative. In Abuja, development were concentrated in the city. The satellite towns that we have within us and our rural communities are not paid attention to. It's human beings like me and you that are living in those communities. No road, no water, no good schools. Nothing. When people ask me what is it that Labour we could have done different if it would be today is the president of Nigeria, I will tell them this. The difference between what Peter Obi would have done is that in Nigeria today I have opportunity to be in an ad hoc committee have investigated Nigerian sovereign fund, have managed the funding of Second Niger Bridge. 2.4 kilometers was built with 17 point something billion. 2.4 kilometers of road. But I can tell you, to the standard of that road, even at 400 million, you will still have a kilometer of road. And if you divide that 17 point something billion, do you know how many parts of road that you will have? What would have been different between Peter and others is accelerated development. Because Peter will use less to do more. What would have been the difference? Nothing for that. Sincerity would have come back into governance. So, in Abuja, we have issue of health, education. You can imagine, during that campaign, I went to a ward called Kawu. When I got to Kawu town, this primary school located in Kawu have 600 and something children, 9 teachers. And the day I came to that school, I only met 5. Among that 5, one of them was backing a child. mathematically it's -1. Then tell me, what will be the future of these 620 pupils in that primary school? No future for them. A state governed by the president of the federal government. So with that, I want to tell you people, we know the problem of Abuja. Abuja, as a federal capital city, have no transportation policy. A city like this is not organized and it has no proper system. With all the billions spent in Abuja, a shame for the years. Again, Abuja civil service was nowhere to be found. It's matched up with the federal civil service. When I came, I wrote about it to the head of service. I wrote to the head of service. Even in the federal civil service, when they are allocating employment positions to the states, they give Abuja 1/3 of what they give to states. But Abuja is a mini Nigeria. Abuja is where all other states converge. So if there is any state to have more, it will be Abuja. Because in Abuja, somebody from Akwa Ibom can get employment. Somebody from Anambra, somebody from Adamawa can get employment. So Abuja should have more. But they give Abuja less. But because of that letter and that fight, just 2 days ago, Mr. Minister buying into that idea, got approval from the president, and today Abuja has its own civil service commission. That is part of our achievement. And that will help. We'll have a civil service which is focused here in Abuja that are more productive. Then talk about the transportation sector in Abuja. Just imagine. Do you know that what it took the federal government of Nigeria to build the railway from here to Kaduna? I'm not against it. We need to have things like that. If half of it is invested from Maraba to the city, the amount of money the Abuja Kaduna rail line is making in 1 month can be made in 2 days. We have more than 200,000 to 300,000 people coming in from that route into Abuja at 200 naira per day. Transit for 1 month and transit for one day and get it to 1 month. You can understand what I'm talking about. Bwari owed all the money he borrowed. All the presidential candidates of different political parties agreed on one thing, that removal of subsidy is the way to go, including our own principal. Know it. But for us to do that, there are some certain things that we have to do, some certain foundations that we have to lay to cushion the effect of what that subsidy will bring. Imagine today if we have a monorail from Maraba to the city, from Suleja here, and they talk about subsidy. When people can buy a monthly pass to use the tram and use the buses, they will not feel the crunch of this subsidy like we are feeling it now. I feel bad when I'm going back sometimes from work. I see well-dressed men in their suit. When you talk about this type of people, I'm talking about the middle class, the supposedly middle class, climbing the back of pickup truck because he can no longer afford to fuel his car to come from the suburb. From the suburb of 30 minutes drive, he cannot afford it. A country where we have, so your minimum wage is 30,000. There are 30,000 to go to and fro. They spend about 2,000 a day. So your minimum wage can only take you for 2 weeks as transport, not other things that you need to do. It's the next thing that Labour would have done that is different is this. In fighting corruption, it's not we going around and using the FCC to be chasing people. Labour would have fought corruption with infrastructure. Because, put money there. Somebody can leave the city if it's expensive. Instead of paying 2 million here, you can go to Super and get yourself a house. In the morning, you use your bus pass and use the train or the bus to come to the city. That young man that had something to do in the city, maybe they're supposed to be paying him 60,000 or 40,000, can buy a bus pass for 15,000, and he can plan with it and say, okay, I can use 10,000 to feed myself, 15,000 for bus pass, and I can save 15,000 for myself. But you cannot plan today. You go out there to join the bus, they collect 1,000 from you today, tomorrow they collect 1,005, next tomorrow they collect 2,000, so you cannot plan. But you can leave this town and live there and pay maybe 300,000 for a flat. If that happens, assuming you are a civil servant, if you know that you are going to pay 200,000, 2 million naira to rent a house, and probably because there is no school, you have to pay another maybe 500,000 for your child to go to a primary school nearby that is a private school. I tell you, any money that passes your table, you will take it. It doesn't matter if you're a good person or a bad person, because you have to be under a roof and your children have to go to school. So, had it been that we put these things in place, the level of our quest for corruption as a people will come down. But we don't have it. So how do we fight corruption? And you look at that man that is beside you, that is working, he's making a lot of money. And you must get your own, no matter how it comes. So, how people, I want you to know that on the issue of the civil service we have started, on the issue of transportation, the minister is now reworking it, and we will be backing it up with every legislation needed to make it work. Then comes to health. In the past, they would do budget and just lump money into health sector without pointing out clearly what are going to be done. So somebody can decide to buy mosquito net with the money that is in health. Somebody can decide to only paint hospital walls with all the money. But this time around, we must carry out our oversight function by making sure that this project is started to a thing that we can see that is visible, so that tomorrow, when we go out there to say, vote for us again, people can be proud that during this time that we will be able to point at things that we have done as a result of our own oversight functions, knowing that we are not members of the executive. We are just in the legislative side. Let me now come back to politics. I can tell you that even 2027 election has started now. But some of us here are still talking about 2023. That's why some people were brought here to man the affairs of the administrative structure in Abuja. Labour Party is at risk. If we don't come together as a family, if some of us who believe that they are obedient but they are not Labour Party, you cannot run election on obedient platform. You can only run election as a member of Labour Party. That's why I started by saying you cannot separate obedience from Labour Party or separate Labour Party from obedience. So my fellow obedience, my coming here tonight is one, to thank you and appreciate you. And two, to give you a little insight of where we are and what we're trying to do. And finally tell you that we have to come together. I want to see these heavy men and women here involving themselves into the party structure and playing the politics of the party. It's LP that will make us survive this. Bwari ran election 3 times. Obi ran once and produced 35 members of the lower parliament and about almost 9 senators. That is a huge political achievement, if we don't know. And for you to win, you must build on something. When they were talking of structures, some of us were saying, we have the structures. What are they talking about? Even our principal will say, the market women are the structures. The students are the structures. But let me tell you, the truth remains. What they were pointing at is party structure. They were pointing at party structure, but we are getting it wrong. Without this party structure, you cannot win an election. Do you know that Labour, during this last election, half of the party agents, the primary agents, we don't have. Half of it. How do you win? You cannot win an election without that. No matter how good you are, go out there, talk about plans, how you will do it, change Nigeria, and you don't have this structure, you will continue to lose election. Obedient family, come to Labour. That is where we will build our stronghold and launch out again. And this time, they cannot stop us. We have had a good beginning. And part of our problem was that we were not having funds also. Now a lot of people have discovered that Labour is capable. Those of them now that have that money will bring it to Labour. And Labour will build a better grassroots ready for future elections. But we cannot do that without you people being part and parcel of this Labour Party. So I beseech you, listen, I beg you in the name of Almighty God, let us come, join hands, and make it Labour Party. Labour Party, not just obedient. Obi is our principal there. But this party is what is sponsoring Obi. And we have to build it. Local government election is coming. And that's why I'm in a hurry to get to 2024. So that with the budget of 2023 that we'll be making against 2024, that lead to constituency projects. That one is strictly under me that I must account for the Labour family. And truly, I want to use that to prove that with little, that much can be done. And that is the only thing we will use to justify whatever in this coming election. That I will take the chairmanship candidate of our party, we will come to the community, we will be pointing at things. That borehole there, we did it. That primary school there, we rebuilt it. That health center there, we equipped it. Hold me accountable for that. That is a promise that I'm going to give you. And we will surely deliver on it. Why do we need these area councils? Without this area council, we cannot win election in 2027 in Abuja. Know that. If we are just talking about Obi, and you don't talk about the area council election, you will be on your own when the election comes. With winning this area council election, I tell you, the vote that will come from this election will be the vote of about 3 or 4 states together. And we can be able to deliver this. How do we allow a council that gets statutory allocation of almost R1 billion to go into the hands of people who don't want to do anything with it? God, Rama, they are not doing anything. Are you seeing them anywhere? Is the local government existing in Abuja? It's not. It's only what the other city is doing that we see here. We need to change the game. By winning that area council, it will go a long way in changing the problems and the face of Abuja. Who said that local government cannot build hospitals? Who said that local government cannot construct roads? It's because people who are not qualified, who don't have the vision of what will be done, are manning it today. Look at your faces. I know all of you here, being that chairman of that local government, can do wonders with R1 billion and more than almost 20 billion worth of revenue generation. When I say it, you think it's a lie? Gwarinpa is about 300,000 house units. And if we are having tenement rates at 50,000 per house, times it with 300,000 is just a section of the place. Just Gwarinpa. Not Wuse, not Maitama, not Rube, not Karo. We cannot leave that to the hands of this PDP and APC. Men like you should get involved. And that is my message tonight. Don't separate Obidient from Labour Party. Once again, thank you very much. I think I have talked enough. And I am truly happy to be here. And Mr. Piper, I know you are someone that knows what to do when it comes to people being happy too, not just an activist. And all about your own activism is for people's welfare. So please, I think you should do the needfuls to the house tonight. Thank you very much.
So, thank you so very much. Please, you may all well be seated. Those in charge of refreshment, start getting it ready. You know, after meeting with Honourable Joshua Chinedu Obika, when Obika, is it Obika or Obika? Hi, Obikaranka. Hi. When I came to Prof and when I was singing your praises, Prof asked me, how much did he give you? Because he says, we know you. We know, you mean you just went to this man's office, took picture, and the next thing you are singing his praises? I say, okay, when he comes, you will hear from the horse's mouth. And I'm sure none of you are disappointed, right? Because I came back and I told everyone we have proper representation. And I told them if I had gone to your office and if I had listened to you in the office and I wasn't convinced, I'm telling you when I come back here, trust this mouth. I would have been the one to tell all of them, look, we don't have a house of reps. In fact, the only thing we should be doing now is how do we throw that guy out and replace him, and that will be the only thing we'll be discussing here. But you can see today that we have someone to represent us. And I'm sure that my friend Peter is even surprised. So if you are still an obedient and has not made up your mind to pick up a Labour Party card, we will not let you in that gate again. You will see when it starts. No, Sarah, are you not surprised I am talking like this? No, because they know that I'm the one who keeps saying, we obedience are not Labour Party and we are not going to take the card. Yes, and I'm the leader of that group. So now when we start saying, no, when we say, listen, I need you to get ready, nothing less than 35,000 pounds. Ready. Because when the obedience wants to join, we will join in us. So don't expect it's going to be a large gathering. We have to break it down to different places. And just before we continue, some people came here with a special gifts for the Honourable. And as we're doing questions and answers, the refreshment will be served. But please, I'll hand over to this gentleman. They have something to honor the Honourable with.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter. I'm the project manager for Top Rise Marketing International Award of Excellence. Our head office is based in USA, Texas. My office is here in Abuja. In August 26, to be precise, we had our 11th edition, where we honor deserving personalities who have really done well in their own space and giving back to the society that has also made them. And having followed him during the electronic period, he doesn't know me because I am excited to do that. I don't know this. I've been with Mike since 2000 again in Abuja, being Paladins. And in my only 2 weeks, I contributed to the success that we all celebrating today in Abuja. Having said that, I said I wouldn't wait.
On different platforms. So this is that time for questions and answers. Ask question. Maybe we'll ask question. Questions. Okay, before we take questions and answers. Right now, Mr. Peter Ame is a member of the BOT. Hi, Chief Peter Ame. Anyone they call Peter, this is a Peter. This is a Peter. This is a Peter. In fact.
Good evening, Honourable. Honourable Chairman of FCT, member representing AMAC, Bwari, Federal Constituency, Professor Okobia, Peter Piper, and all the others that are in the house. For me, I don't think I can say much about Labour Party. Because over the years, your political journey and your struggle. I'm also commend you. I was with the national chairman one time when he told me how you took success and other people. I wasn't there, you were not there. And that is how things, it's supposed to be. When you recognize the effort of those who contribute to your success and not think that it was because you were too politically experienced that you got what you got. And I thank the leaders of this forum, for hosting you and listening to you and your commitment to a renewed hope for those who want to really become part of the Labour Party, to participate so that we can save this country from the bad edge that we're getting to bad leadership. I thank you and I thank everybody and I thank you all for inviting me. I came with Sarah and our candidate for Edo Central, senatorial candidate for Edo Central for Labour Party. All I wanted to do was just to honor my brother here and make sure that he couldn't send an invitation to someone like me, I won't come. So I came to honor you. But if this party must survive, the things you have prescribed here as the drug to be taken, it is actual drug that must be taken so that we can cure this country from its current ailment. There's nowhere in the world that democracy is left to those who want to make it a business that the country survive. There's nowhere in the world that the citizens refuse to participate in the democratic process, that you expect change, that you expect development. I was here when National Hospital was built by Abacha's wife. I was living inside the Akinola Aguda house. And since then, like you have said, there have not been single development in this FCT. There is no road. You can see AMAC. Even before AMAC was given land, they were almost in charge of every land from Buhia and Co. But it was taken over from them because AMAC itself is not proactive. AMAC has become like a church boys, where everybody goes, share the money that is there, and nobody even knows the area council chairman. Nobody knows them. Because everyone who is interested in you knowing them, they think that every time they can come, rig election and put them in place. We want now to include the leadership of Honourable to stop these people in their tracks and put a new leadership that will be represented by young people. Follow his leadership, follow his mentorship, follow his courage, and follow his determination to bring true democratic dividends to our people. For what he has said, I leave here with a renewed hope that the FCT will no longer be the same again in 4 years' time. Thank you very much. Honourable Bwari, I saw you hiding in that corner. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Honourable. We came to honor you through our brother here, but because we have another engagement, so we have to say something to thank you. The rest about me, I leave it to Chairman Peter to say. It is wrong to speak about oneself.
Thank you so much. Let me start with His Excellency, that is the Governor of FCT, in the person of Professor Chris Mukabia. Thank you for making this gathering possible this evening. I want to thank especially my chairman, the chairman of our great party, Labour Party, FCT, no other person, the High Chief, Peter Chukwemeka. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Your Honourable, sir. I think out of everybody that have come to welcome this occasion and in this gathering, I'm the most happiest person here. And one may not know why I'm the most happiest person. I'm the most happiest person because my boss here sitting right by your left can be a witness. Opposite our party who slept on the Thursday night, if I'm not mistaken, on the 24th night. We were waiting and waiting and waiting before we were there to daybreak. I left, because of the curfew. I had issues with police around 4:35 a.m. going back, to do what I know how to do better, to represent my word and all that. And throughout that 25th to 26th, I was on the road. That is the day I know how porous the security of FCT was. And I remember there were some incidents that happened. I called you on phone, and you say I should not worry that God has taken charge and the election is being won. So, having said that, I want to say something. This goes to the executive and to you because you are the leader of this party, you and Kigibe, currently in FCT, with the help of our leader here, Biro. That there is no difference between the Labour Party and the Obedient family. The only difference is that the Labour Party without constituency. Everywhere is our constituency. We have no boundary. And that takes me to say that your emergence as the honourable member representing Bwari and Amak today is not done by the people living in Abuja alone. It is a collective effort of the entire Nigerians, including the woman that lost one of her eye in Lagos just to vote. You being honourable today is a collective effort. Only that boy that committed suicide in Plateau State because of the injustice done to us. You were not the only people that won on the party. You were more than 15 numbers. But how many people have voted? And that boils to, what they cry and the press that we should register and become members of this party. But that will only be possible if the party do the needful, because if what people say after wow, I'm this man that, with all due respect, I respect every man but everybody. I don't feel on his face. Because I don't know that occasion. I told him with all due respect, sir, you are not going to win. And the reason is that you've been here for more than 60 years and it's sure to remain here. Tell me how many people have grown youth for the past 16 years are following your footsteps and more. That's, you don't know what to do. I cited a lot of things that will not make you win, and that I'm one of the person that is campaigning most against him. That one of the reasons that go to all the places that Igbos are dominant in FCD, there is no road leading to those places. I cited those things. And I tell him that I will make sure, even if for no other reason, that people like that will not vote for you. And I'm going to do it with my full chest. And to God be the glory. I will make party in March and he knows. So what am I trying to say? There are some things we're going to do. We know, sir. I understand you've been in the corridor of politics of FCT. And I want to call a name here. You know Mr. Bitrus in Kubwa. Mr. Bitrus working with Amak. Anywhere you see that man, thank him. He fought even as a banking man. The kind of underground campaign he did for Labour Party within his people, I don't think any other person can do it. What am I trying to say? There are things we need to do in Labour Party for us to have 2025. And those things, it is true that the baggies or the indigenous, sometimes they can be too naive. That is why most of them didn't join Labour Party. I I called on many of them to join, and they refused. It happened even in my ward. I refused taking position that individuals should be given position. I refuse. And as I'm standing here, I'm aspiring to contest in the coming election. But if having a party man or an individual who can give us vote and make our party more powerful will be the answer, I can drop my questions. Because the bigger the merrier. So, what am I trying to say? Obedient are not fighting Labour Party, but all we want is a good representative. And finally, I want to say thank you for coming, and take this back to your colleagues and your friends in the lawmaking business there, both at the red and the green chamber. That they should not forget where we started. Some of them, take it or leave it, wouldn't have been able to win 1,000 votes in their constituency if not for the obedient and the Yobi movements. And if they should rely on their strength, we know what to do. Some of them might be threatening to join a different political party. We are watching their this, we are watching everything they are doing. We are monitoring them. We have touchlight even in their bedroom.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Honourable Chinedu Obika. My FCT chairman is also there. Good evening, everyone. My name is Princess Lisha Ibe. I'm happy to be here tonight. Honourable, I really want to thank you for coming, for honouring the invitation, and also to say congratulations once again for your victory as the House was a rep member of FCT Amaka Bwari area council. We're very proud, and I'm delighted and happy to associate myself with you because you are coming from my ward in Kubwa, so I am privileged to have you. I want to say I'm proud. Already we are seeing what you are doing in a very short time. We know you are going to do more. And I'm happy that you spoke about people that want to vie for positions, that the Obedience and the Labour Party should come together and have that strong force to take the area council election, chairmanship elections, and also the councillors. It's a good one. We're glad for your encouragement, for telling us that you are in support of us to push for that, because actually if we don't wake up to do that and other parties take it over, it will make your job more difficult. But if we are there, we are loyal to our own, the job will be easier, then we can deliver FCT together. So at this junction, I want to use the opportunity that this time around we have women too that are interested in vying for position. I use the opportunity to tell you that I'm vying for Bwari Area Council Chairman. Tonight, I have to tell everyone about it. And I'm really happy and I'm grateful for this forum tonight. And thanks to Professor Chris Mwakobia for putting this together. It's really a good one. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's I cannot apologize for my height. I love my stature so much, and I believe that men of small stature, they have effected greater change than men of bigger stature. Okay, I don't know the protocols that have been laid down, so all protocols duly observed, but I would just like to thank Professor Chris. I intended to run for the office of Governor of Abuja, but immediately he declared interest. I have to bring down my own intention. Thank you so much, sir, for putting this together. And the Honourable member, sir, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate. And the chairman, the PRO, thank you so much. We really appreciate your presence. I see this gathering as more than just listening to the Honourable member, but one of interacting with the constituents. Sorry, sir, when I'm done. Thank you. There's no problem. There's no problem. So I see it as one of interacting with constituents because we are all based in Abuja. For myself, I am under Kabusa ward, and believe you me, I am happy that I am part of this movement. Because if I wasn't part of it, I don't know, I would have hid my face in shame. You know, I make no apology to say that I am an obedient. But I want to say some things in reference to what you said. Number one is in relation to Labour Party and membership. Now, there is a problem with the internal workings of the Labour Party, which I may not be fully aware of. I am not a member, I must confess. There's no problem, sir. I called my state, Abia State, I'm from Abia State, and I called the chairman of Ugunabo local government of the party there. And when I spoke with him, I asked him, what are the modalities for membership? Because a lot of people started reaching out to me. And he told me that there is an embargo placed on membership. I was mad. The literal artist here talked about being mad. I was mad hearing that there is some sort of embargo placed on party membership. I don't know if it is only there. Of course. I am happy that he's here too. So I don't know why that is. I don't know if it is just in Abia State or in that particular local government due to one thing or the other. I believe that a lot of people are willing and are making efforts to join the Labour Party. So this is an observation, sir. Maybe you can address it after I, go through my list. Secondly, sir, you mentioned a lot of problems, which I agree. I've been in Abuja since 2002. I was born and brought up in Lagos State, where I lived until, relocating to Abuja. You mentioned a lot of problems. So I would ask, sir, what are your observations on the law that regulates these areas, these problems that you have mentioned? Because outside of being, or outside of constituency projects, one of the core crux of being in the house there is for lawmaking. So I don't know if you have checked out these laws that affect these areas and see how we can work on them to see that the people of Abuja, your constituents, enjoy them. Then finally, laws and policies are what actually drive social change. Laws and policies drive social change. And you would agree with me that if members of your constituents cannot enjoy the rights which they enjoy, you may not even be able to get to the office if you decide to run for a second term, so you may agree. Because if people do not enjoy the rights to move out on the street, to air their views, to hold opinions in persons and in group, just like obedience hold their views as a group, if these rights are not there, there will be a problem. So to that effect, sir, I am making a passionate appeal. I wrote a letter to Senator Ireti Kingibe. I think that was on 6th of October. I believe that she has received my letter. I'll be waiting to see if there will be feedback regarding it. So while I was preparing your own letter, sir, it is beautiful that I've seen you here. Before I make it more official, I'll make that passionate appeal now. Sir, there is a law called the Public Order Act, which was enacted by a decree in 1979. And you would agree with me that a decree that was enacted by the military does not, in the real sense of it, favor a democratic, enterprise or a democratic regime. And that law provides that for people to hold views, for them to protest, that they must take permission from the police, which is alien to the fundamental rights. Nigeria is a member state of, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Banjul Charter, and all of that. So, sir, I want you, sir, to please look into that law to see what we can do about it. And also, diaspora voting. I'm aware that there is a bill at the House of Reps that has been brought regarding, voting for diaspora. So, have not gotten a hold of the bill, so I believe that we can do more and see how people can be brought into policy and lawmaking. To end my submission, I must thank you very much, sir. You know, the greatest of all politicians are those who present themselves to be criticized by the people. I feel that that is the greatest of all, or representative of the people. So for you to come here, you are ready to accept what the people are going to say and take it back home to work. So thank you, sir, for being here. Thank you, Prof, for putting this up, and thank you for inviting me also. I really appreciate. And to everybody here who have been a member of the Obedient movement, we are all brothers in arms. And like I always like to say, we will always win our battles on different fronts. Why Dr. Bwari is fighting on the aggressive front, others are fighting on the very calm front, and others are fighting on two fronts and different fronts. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. God bless you and enjoy yourself tonight.
You did ask some questions, and I think one of the questions is whether there is an embargo on membership of the Labour Party. Please, Mr. Chairman, address that.
That is a very wrong information. There is no embargo on membership cards. Even we had a strategic meeting at the FCT level. We are even trying to even solicit from our aspirants to come and pay for membership cards so that we can go to the walls and give it to them. Membership is open. We have a very elaborate register where we are registering people. Even when you go there and there's no membership card, try to put your name in the membership register. There is a difference between don't go to the national and carry membership card and stuff into your pocket. There is a difference that you are a card carrying member and a registered member of the political party. You might be a card carrying member of the party, but you are not registered in your ward. And that has already thrown you off. Like some of us here who wants to run for the election. The first thing you have to do is go to your ward and register. You have to make sure that your name is in your register. Even if you don't have the membership card, we can be part of it if the membership cards are scarce. And anytime there's membership card, they will call you, put it alongside your name, and ask to come and take the membership card. But first of all, go and get registered. Let your name be in the register. Put down your phone number there, so that when the membership card comes, they will call you to come and pick it. Don't go and run election without putting your name in your register. Thank you.
All right, so the chairman has explained the difference between card-carrying members and registered members. So some of you card-carrying members who have been insulting we obedient, they are not. You will be very, very surprised now that some of us are going to kick you out of the place because you are just a card-carrying member and you are not even a registered member. You have questions?
Nigerian Labour Congress. And the certificate of Labour Party is in the safe of the President of Nigerian Labour Congress. Even though we cannot contest election, but the law says we can belong to a party. So when NSC was saying, oh, we support Labour Party, it is because they own Labour Party, so to say. And the duty of the Political Commission, as he knows, is to try to make sure that some of the lacunas you see. For instance, you remember there was a time you know about the Papa. Papa went and drove away Abuja, the police, and you know the people supporting him. But Ajero himself, the president of the led a team of workers and went there and drove Papa away from the headquarters of the Labour Party. We don't know you. We are owners of the party, we don't know you. Even though we are not politicians, there is a reason why we registered this party. And you also know that the reason why they are funding our Papa is to create confusion so that they can poach those elected officials who will use the excuse of the fact that there is, the ceremony in the party to legally pull out of the party. Because you see, if there is no confusion in the party, you cannot have any justification for leaving that party. Or if there is crisis, you can just say, yes, that's what the law says. There's crisis. So I'm happy that Honourable emphasized the fact that you cannot belong to Labour Party if you don't belong to Labour Party. Obedient is not a party. We know that Obedient populates the Labour Party. To register, they will not be able to effectively nominate a candidate to run the Labour Party. So they will just be waiting until some few people will nominate somebody for them. They will not say, oh, no, this person is not the right person, we don't like him. And that's why they need to. I have talked to some of my great men who are the movers and shakers of obedience. But there is need for us to make that happen. And I'm happy because from what you have said now, we can use LFCT as the model. Because the problem we're having in the States is that there is a deliberate attempt to make sure that both obedience and workers, just like Maxwell said, Maxwell, I can assure you, we are at war with even the governor. Are you getting the point? Because most of the people who are elected don't even know that there's going to be an election in the next 4 years. And if you know politics, you know that the day election ends is the day you begin to prepare for the next one. So we are hoping that we will use that as a model and then try to see how we will take the state to open up and allow obedience and workers too. Because who are the workers? I mean, you know how many millions of workers that come under NLC and TUC. If you don't allow them to register, and they are in every ward, in every village, there are teachers, there are nurses, there are local government workers, there are electricity workers, and all that. There are taxi drivers. So we need, that's our problem now. We must bring in obedience to populate Labour Party. We must bring in workers to populate Labour Party. So I'm very happy that I'm here and that we are all already on that movement. Yeah, thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, because if from one prof to another prof, they will kill us with grammar for here. So let me give it to someone who is not a prof. If you are a prof, I'm not going to give you. You are a professor what? Comrade, you can now take.
It's a privilege to be here today. All protocols well observed. I think the prof has really put up a good show. As far as I'm concerned, this is a good show. This is the way to go. My joy today is that the obedient movement has come to stay. I used to tell people that there are things you call spirits. And the obedient movement is one of those things you call spirit. When we started, when the whole journey started, it wasn't obedient movement. A spirit that is driving this force to be called the obedient movement started with what we call the NSAS movement. And the movement was driven by the youth. The youth were so angry, so to speak. They find gathering to express their anger, their agitations, but there was none. Until they found one in what we call SARS, a killing of youth by SARS. And then they capitalized on that. And then the End SARS movement started. The truth is that what the youth did during the End SARS was not actually End SARS. It was actually end bad governance. No wonder, even when the government came, it's okay, and it's for no more SARS will tell you as one of the agitations. The End SARS movement stopped. No, it didn't stop. It continued, and then we changed everything to end bad governance. We wouldn't have left the street. The revolution would have seen the light of day at that point. But because of the guns, they used the power of the guns to send the youth out of the street, and they thought they succeeded. What a time. We have a man that came with a different ideology. And then the same youth took time to study and discover that what this man stands for is what we want. All of a sudden, those of us who were active during the answers began to queue behind this man, P2B. Why? He carries what we want. We saw what we want in him. Before you know it, the obedient movement. It was everywhere. Everything done to stop the movement could not see the light of day, because that movement is a spirit. And the movement has come to stay. Today in Nigeria, we are seeing a new turn. We are seeing what has never happened before. Now, when we talk about the obedient movement, this is so important. The makeup of the obedient movement. 1, the Labour Party. 2, the support groups. 3, individuals, Nigerians, who believe in the ideology of P2B. They are neither in Labour Party nor are they in support group. But they so much believe in the ideology of this one, and they decide to queue behind him. Now, these 3 categories make up the obedience. Now, something happened after the election. Ideally, after every election, all support groups go back to sleep. Now, this is because they came with intention to make money. But for the first time, we saw a movement that continued after the election. And that is why we are here today. Now, I would like to appreciate those who have also helped us to get to where we are, because we saw something in them and we decided to keep it. One, our principal, P2B. And for the FCT, we have candidates. But there is this candidate, then candidate, because it's no longer a candidate, that really proved to us that governance can be different. Right from the days of the campaign, he took the lead in FCT. As far as I'm concerned, I see him as the leader of the campaign in FCT. Because what we don't know as obedient, he tried to put us through. I'm talking about Honourable Chinedu Obika. Now, if the head is burning, there is no way the body will not catch the fire. We saw this fire in him. I went closer to him. We worked together. And the same fire I saw in him from the wall, I applied it. And in turn, it brought about a turnaround in the FCT. I led a support group, rallies, sensitization, outreaches in FCT. He gave us the backing, he gave us the support. And everywhere we go, even before the campaign started, he was always with us to make sure we succeed. And indeed, we succeeded. I remember calling key persons from the different conveners or support groups in FCT, I told them that if this 20% is really going to work, then we will do everything possible to make sure that the big parties, APC and PDP, does not end at 20%. And that was exactly what we did. We came on out. Today, see where we are today. All credit goes to the Obedient movement, which is made up of the Labour Party, the support group, and individuals who believe in this ideology. Now, very quickly, we are calling on all the obedient. We have told them before and we are telling them again that elections are coming. We are not going to sleep. Our interest, especially in FCT, because this is FCT, is to make sure that the 62 wards in FCT and the 6 area councils in FCT are taken over by Labour Party. And it's going to work. We have identified men, we have identified people who have what it takes to go in there. And we are going to queue behind them, we are going to work with them. It's going to be a slap on our face for people to come out from APC and PDP to come and take those tickets because they have the money to travel. We will not let it go. Thank you so much. Now, before I drop, I actually didn't want to say this here. I see it as a duty to pay my principal, someone I call my principal in FCT, a homage, a visitation, who formally made my interest known to him. But today he's here. I'm going to use this opportunity to let him know, because I have not heard it before unless he saw it somehow, somewhere. Okay. Should I stop that? Should I stop that? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. They say a short speech should be like a lady's skirts, a mini skirts. It must be short enough, yet long enough to hide the subject matter. So, because the time is going down, so please, when you're making a short speech, let it be like a lady's skirts. You know, come on, handsome guys, now talk now. You know, ladies, they like it when it's short. But it should also be long enough to hide the subject matter. Because the moment you see the subject matter, then what else is the clothing? And someone just told me that some ladies are so beautiful that even putting on their clothes is a disclaimer. You know, someone once praised Ebuka or Big Brother for dressing very, very well. And then they told the wife, oh, your husband, every time he dresses, he looks so good. You know what the wife said? He said the guy looks better without his clothes on. So, you know, just to let them know, well, you love the clothing, but I see him all the time without the clothes on. So we're going to let some people give very, very short speeches. You still want to give a short speech? Thank God you're a lady. It must be long enough just to hide the subject matter, but let it be a miniskirt.
Thank you very much. At the point I was thinking the microphone was not gender balanced. Thank you, Honourable, and once again I must say congratulations at your judgment at the tribunal. Mine is just an appeal. Like he rightly said, one thing that kept the obedient movement going was the yearning for a new change, for the narrative that would be different from what we've been used to. And as someone who has the privilege to work in the development space, I've participated in developing strategic work plan for states. And one thing that I know that we're lacking in this country is this top-to-bottom approach. So my appeal this evening is this. Like you said earlier, you said you are going to community to do projects, and then when you are going back to look at and tell them this is what we did and this is what we are doing. It is good for you to consult with them and know what exactly they want. Many times we go into community and we think they need borehole, and probably what they need is a good sanitary system. Probably what they need is a road leading to the community market. but will neglect that and feel, okay, this is what they need. There is what we call sense of ownership. When they own that project, they'll tend to maintain it and keep it well. So mine is just an appeal. While you go on doing your constituency project, try to engage the various stakeholders and ask what exactly they need. Thank you very much, sir.
That was really a short speech. They say we are not gender balanced, so please let the ladies talk.
Thank you, so that you will not be guilty as charged. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, my chairman. Good evening, Honourable Obika. Mine this evening is just very short. Gathered here this evening are men, women, and young people who believe in a new Nigeria. They have a lot of hope, and you have a great duty to ensure that this hope is not being dashed. Our part with you, sir, is to go in there and make a difference. I want to encourage you this evening, sir, that you should resist any attempt or any temptation to join the back wagon. Seated here this evening are men and women of timber and caliber, and we are solidly behind you. We are with you, sir. No fear. We and more that are behind us are with you. So, sir, speak loudly. Let your voice be heard. No fear them. Don't be truth. But, sir.
Thank you. God, we don't do gender. I better don't talk with it. You know, we know that Eve was created before Adam, and Adam was made out of the rib of Eve. All right, please make it as short as the lady.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, my Honourable. My name is Joaquin Kemakala. I'm an estate surveyor in Badu, as well as a contractor. So mine is very brief. It's not going to be a sugar-coated word. Congratulations on your victory at the tribunal. What I want to let you know is, being someone who is interacting with the people at the street, we know what they're saying, and we hear their plight. And these are the people we rely on maintaining the strength of Labour Party come 2027. Now, we know that this top-bottom approach in the country, one, has a negative effect on some of politicians, particularly senators and honourable members who are coming. Yes, subsidy has been removed, but the effect is very harsh. Very, very harsh on the citizens of the city. What are the palliatives? Transport system is very difficult. For people to go to work is very, very tight this period. But it's actually is a program that has been arranged by the party at the top, the party that has the leadership strength. But as the honourable member, our honourable member, because I'm living in Bwari, because I'm living in Cooper, so it's Bwari Area Council that is on the. So please, what I'm trying to say is this. Based on the palliative that Labour is hammering upon, that each time they make a step to go on protest, you will see the federal government and maybe the party at the center will try to stop them from doing that. There should be a program by yourself to at least win the confidence of your members, people who will make sure that victory is won come to next election. So please, my question is this: what are your programs for this your constituent? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for making it brief. The Honourable Obika gave a very lengthy speech, and I think you may have to go through what he has said. And There's just one gentleman behind me. After that, I give it to you. Because I know when the microphone gets to the hand of a professor, he might prophesy.
Thank you. Truly, I'm a gentleman. Good evening, gentlemen and ladies in the house. My party chairman, I'm glad to have you here once again, even though we share the same river, the same school, the same church. My Honourable, you're welcome, sir. Prof, I'm here again. Your domain. I actually asked for the microphone for a single reason. And that reason is very simple. Just to say a congratulations to our brother on his victory, both at the poll and at the tribunal. Honourable, we were able to have an interface during the electioneering for just one reason. I have a servant that served 2 masters at a go. How does that happen? Yes, my house is in Banya, but I was given Nasarawa West to be the OB and data coordinator in the whole of the 5 local governments. That was what took my time there. But you may ask, now that I'm in those 2 places, how do I cast my vote? But I can tell you that Nyanya, Taro, Chikoi, Kurudu, down to Rosa Karishi, we have them intact. Chairman can be my witness. I never wanted to say anything, but I said, no, it's good I say something. Because in politics, as we are struggling to enter bus, a lot of people will be pushing you out. And while they are pushing you, try as much as you can to bring yourself in. If you don't bring yourself in, no one else will bring you in. In other words, it is a very good and nice opportunity having you tonight, because what we have done this evening is not everyone that do it. Because most times their thinking is once they have crossed the ladder, it's good the ladder breaks. They don't care. But in your own case, you have showcased a different style of leadership, which some of us will invite you. On this note, I want to say a congratulations to you and more grace to you, Honourable. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you. I think, let me just give it to a professor. Because you see, English has root words. When you hear prof, that's where you have prophecy, you have prophesy, you have prove, you have prophets, you even have, what other word begins with P-R-O-F? Prof. So over to Professor Chris Wokobia. We have just elevated him, so just in case you don't know, go check the Twitter space. He's the governor of Abuja, because since they told us that Abuja does not have any special status, we said, oh, is that so? Then which means we should have a governor. It's a mistake since not giving us a governorship election. So just sorry you didn't know, we conducted our governorship election some time ago here. And he won the election, so we are waiting for our own allocation. Over to the governor-elect of Abuja.
It is my pleasure to have you all here. And interestingly, I listened to my brother, the Honourable. He did tell us quite a lot about his sojourn politically, which is impressive. You know, one beautiful thing about our country is the fact that when you hear some political stories, some they inspire your faith, whether those people on the other side, like it or not, we're still one great country, one great people. And we can break our fault lines to forge a strong rainbow coalition of sorts. I believe in Nigeria, I still do. And stories like this, coming from a councillor to ultimately becoming a member of the House of Representatives. I'm talking about Abuja, like he was born here. It's impressive. But we didn't just call our brother here to hear beautiful stories. We called him here to share with him. And that's what we're doing. Impressively, he has told us things we don't know about Abuja, so we need to support him. We need to stand with him. We need to encourage him. Because if you truly want the medical facilities in Abuja, the hospitals like he's noted, you must be able to make him look behind and see a monument of humans who believe that things can work. And that's the philosophy of the obedient movement. You know, I heard my brother talk about how the NSAS protestation came about. Indeed, my own daughter was the one who handled the feeding of those who were involved in the NSAS protestation at the Lekki toll gate. I won't tell you how she survived the draconic shooting. I won't tell you. But thank God she's still here. What is important for all of us who are obedient and who have seen more than one reason why we must populate the Labour Party. What is more important for all of us is the fact that we believe that there can be a new Nigeria. There is hope for a new day, a new deal, a new dispensation, a new tendency, and a new country. You know, I've met with, regarding Labour Party, my chairman, I've met with my daddy here, Professor Bwari, a few times with several other leaders of the party about the need to have my constituency, I'm proudly obedient, for night and day, spent my resources, worked with them, was night and day on TV, on Twitter space. If I tell you how much we put into the Obi campaign, you will ask us whether we're breaking pipes. But the truth is that we're proud that we're able to make the impact that we made. We're proud that we have a honourable respect. I can look at the whole trajectory and say that I'm proud. After all, my House of Reps member is from Labour Party. After all, he calls himself obedient. After all, we didn't lose all out. After all, 25% of Abuja, no party could make it but Labour Party. So we didn't throw our money away in vain. We worked hard and we got strong score. But you know, interestingly, my honourable representative, and this is very important, that's why I asked for the mic. I've heard people talk about the need to take over the councils, and I think it's very important. I think it's extremely important. I've had people come to me to say, oh, I want to be area council chairman in Amak. I've had people come to me to say, oh, I want Bwari, oh, I want this, oh, I want that. And I think it's right. And I think that they need you. They need your counsel. They need your advice. They need your leadership. You know, I tell people that the failure, the problem we have with Nigeria is the failure of leadership, mentorship. They need you. You know this town. I heard you, I listened to you. Yes, they might need our endorsement, but they need your guidance. They need your leadership. They need your counsel. They may not need all the money from you, but they need guidance. And at some point when the primaries come, we will also come to you to ask you, who do you think can win of the several people who have consulted you? Because it is important. It's about winnability, it's about strategy. You know, it's not about someone who likes me or someone I like. It's about how we can take possession of the city, how we can take possession of where we live, and how we can rewrite the story. Let it be said that when the Labour Party was in charge of the FCT, things got better. And I think we can all do that. I think we must all do that. I think we should all do that. And I want to welcome you. This is your home. If I want to fight you, I'll fight you personally, privately. I won't fight you in public. You know, I have a Jewish orientation, and they tell you brothers quarrel in the bedroom, they don't quarrel in public. If you want to make a brother do right, call him privately and say, hey buddy, you can do it better. And then when you come out, you say, okay, let's do it this way. And so I believe that that's why you're here and you are home. You know, we hope to see you next time when you're wearing a boxers or a short. We want to see you in a simple t-shirt, and when you cross the gate, you're not honorable. We play, drink, dance, and talk like brothers. That's why we're here. And I'll tell you, what we have started with you is what we're going to do. Others will come to you because the whole world is watching what we're doing here today. And it's uniquely Labour Party, it's uniquely obedient. Since you guys were sworn, since the 10th Senate, since the 10th House of Reps, nobody has gone back to his constituents to say, let's judge up, let's talk. So I think you're going to go home proud. It's the best of the obedience spoke with you tonight. You know, I think we're going to do something unique because some people don't know that everybody that made the obedient movement tick. You had the name Green Pastures. Obika, you had the name Green Pastures. That's the boy here. He was everywhere. You know, he was even one of the media people who handled GRV's campaign in Lagos. That's Igwe DC, Wind of Change. This is, you know, Obika, Piper, you're disturbing us. We're talking, what's a convivial environment? Friendly, relaxed. Let's play now. You know, that's in the media. Obika, you know him now. Our brother in the media. He was everywhere, all over the world with Peter Gregory Obi. You know, transmitted even the judgment live to over 500,000 viewers around the world. That's what he's doing here today. We have brothers here, we have doctor. I want to see your hands in the air. Yeah, he's a medical doctor, an assistant director. I don't know why he's so proudly politicking. Obedience are mad people, you know. You know, doctor, I salute you. Awesome, you know. The movie maker, Obi Osotule, you must have heard his name. Everybody knows my daddy. You know, and then there are wonderful people here. But what I want you to know is that through it all, we're going to come up victorious because it was Khalil who said a long time ago, no lie can live forever. It was Colin William Bryan who said, a truth crushed to earth will rise again. It was James Russell Lower who said, and I quote it because that's where my strength comes from, said, truth forever on the scaffold, falsehood forever on the throne. That same scaffold sways the future. For behind the dim unknown standeth God in the shadow, keeping watch above his own. You know, I want you to know that so long as, and I'm going to, permit me, I'm not ethnocentric. You know, those who know me know me. But I love, there's something I love about an Igbo cliche that runs through the entire gamut of my being. That cliche says, "Ofokansi." If you have a good heart, no matter what, no matter the conspiracies of the 1,000 demons. They can't hold you down. So I want you to stay there with a good heart. You have to set your constituency. You have to do right. Because if there's anything you should know, that you and Ireti are the first leg of Labour Party and the Obedient movement in Abuja, the FCT. So you must have a good heart and strive to make things right. If you do, nothing, not 1,000 demons, not 1,000,000 weak apes can stop your stride and your rise. So that's my advice, and that's why I'm happy that we have sat here together like one family. You know, for those who, this pepper soup, there's still a few things to eat. If you want to eat food, interestingly, Piper, leave me alone. You know? But I think I'm one of the best chefs in the world. You know, I made a beautiful soup. You can eat it if you want. You know, but the important thing is, for one great family, we must stay together, stick together, walk together, run together, crawl together if you can run. You know, fly if you can fly together. But ultimately, we must keep moving and work, betting the new Nigeria. God bless you.
Well, at this stage, anything that has a beginning must have an end. We came, we saw, and we conquered. We have done a lot of talking, and we know that some people here come from a very far distance. And we just wanted to go over to the... Oh, without this flag boy... but no. Okay, all right. It is the one representing the flag. So let him speak on behalf of the flag.
Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, my Honourable Chinedu Obika. And there is something I really want to say here. And this thing has been disturbing me for a very long time. You know, I've been on the streets right from the days of campaign. We moved to the days of protest. What I want to say is this: I was sitting down here listening to everybody. Nobody went through that direction. And that was why I say that I should collect the mic from here and say, why I'm saying this is this. On the 6th of September, when the Court of Appeal passed their judgment, I came there, I met UC Masway. Where a few of us that were there that day was expecting a very large number of obedient to be on the street that day. But I didn't see anyone apart from UC Masway and myself. So I told him that if Asari boys would come out beating their drums and everything with their charcoal and powder, the Nigerian police did nothing to them and the Nigerian army did nothing to them, then why won't we, as a citizen of this country, come out and speak and protest? Because it's our fundamental human right to protest. For that reason, I told him for that reason, I was going to bring out my flag and my dress. I would dress up and I would stand and protest, and nothing will happen to me. And I did. And I was expecting obedience to come out, but they didn't come out. Few people. It was just few of us that came. When I went live, people saw my life, and I did a short video. I tweeted it. P2P grassroots mobilization, retweet it. That was when people started coming out. What I'm trying to say is this: I'm begging the leadership of Labour Party. We are not telling them to make it official or to make it known to the world that they are behind us. We need them to know that whenever we ask for protest or whenever we come out for protest, they should try their possible best to mobilize us. Because I was there. We were all there that day. The APC people, they came out with big trucks, mobilizing people from every corner of Abuja. So their number outnumber us. Because at the end of the day, they were expecting to the end of the day, they left them stranded. They now came to us, telling us that the APC people picked them up. They told them that they were going to give them 2,000 or 3,000. They scammed them. But we are not asking for money. What we need is just transportation. Just give us that vehicle that will convert people. Me, I don't need transport. Me, I like at the trade. No place for Abuja will never use the trade. So that's what I want to see.
Yeah, thank you very much. Huh? All right, it's like this closing remark.
All protocol duly observed. Actually, I didn't want to make comments, but I just want to use some of that thing. Is a happy campus. We're kind of emotional about it. Every time I say it, it's a symbol. That passion, that love, our dear. The sacrifice is not in vain. Thank you very much.
You finally have gotten me to speak. Flag Boy and Emmanuel, both of you have finally gotten me to speak. You know, I'm happy we are having this conversation. You know, I call it a conversation. It's a family interaction. We review what has happened, and we look at those that scaled the hurdle. One, like our good brother Obika did. Eventually, we may have Ireti also join us at some point to speak. And every other person, because it's a two-way communication. Listen, if you win an election and you do not go back to your constituents and speak with them, that means something is wrong somewhere. Whoever doesn't do it with the obedient, whether inside Labour Party or outside Labour Party, we can guarantee you will be one time. No apologies. That's the way it's seen. No apologies. However, there is a proverb in Igbo. There is an insect called Ebu, and the ancestor says, Ebu, Jurona Oba. I don't even know the insect, the botanical name of it. But what it means is, for that insect to strike, it goes back to the nest, communes with the queen mother, comes out. Whoever it meets on the way is as dead as, now destruction. Now, in governance, we say that you people, because we have yielded our rights to you, you derive your authority from us. We stooped low and said, go and represent us. Now, if there is no communication, two-way communication, if it becomes a one-way traffic, there is trouble. And we pray there will not be trouble in Jesus' name. Now, I would finish by saying, when we look around, we look at people here that nobody knew what they did. And I see faces before the campaign. Before the campaign, many people didn't know. I go somewhere, people say, are you the one? I watched the video where Toby made coffee for you about 2 years ago. An interview I had in his bedroom, the first person that has gone with the camera in his bedroom, it was an impromptu, interview. But that interview spoke to the minds, because to me, I became emotional because, you read, he has one shoe, this is, you're having a conversation with someone, you put up your camera and say, you allow me to shoot. He said, okay, why not go ahead? While he was making conversation, I ask every Nigerian to go watch that interview. It's titled An Interaction with Peter Obi, the side, the other side that people don't know. And that side people don't know. When our brother was saying something, he said something that I think many of us ignored or didn't pick on it. This is what Peter would have done. Peter is not a magician. But when you know that this road is 10 kilometers and somebody is telling you he's going to do it with 1 or 200 billion, in his own candid way, I know he will say, no, this is too much. And that is it. That is too much. But look, that is what governance is all about. Governance is about the people. Governance ought not to be a criminal enterprise. Governance is, we, all of us here collectively, we have yielded our rights to you to say, go and represent us. Therefore, please, I beg you, stay on that path. Stay on the path of truth. We will be clapping on our screens at home, saying, yes, he's making a difference. If he comes to work out alone. If it comes to a point, you don't agree, work out alone, we will clap for you. It comes to, you yourself said it. If we compare thousands of pounds, me, I spend in pounds, that we committed to this campaign, not to talk about this part of the world that we come millions on personal expenses. While we were there now, we were talking about 1.9 million still on pay at John Woods to raise 2.8 billion for this campaign. Personal expenses, personal sacrifices, families left in some part of the world just to fix a place. Businesses, 18 months, businesses, everything on pro bono. Well, thank God you said it before me. Never give me one goal. Anybody who don't give me. To a point we ran a campaign. We ran a campaign. If you run a campaign, there is a media budget to live stream. We will live stream every single state in Nigeria. Every single state. There is no place there was no live stream. Now, who says, can someone tell us how much he was giving? Nobody, no money. But you were doing it for the love. I tell people, it is no longer about you and I. We are getting closer to the grave. We are almost at the departure line. But it is about the generation that will come after us. I say to some of my friends, you may not live in this country or you may live in a very secured environment. The child that you ignored today, you think that child is a nobody, is the greatest threat to your life, to your children. Because if that child becomes what it not to be, you cannot sleep at home with your eyes closed. But you could have avoided it. The child that will sit somewhere hungry, looking at you, driving in an SUV. You know, it's actually crazy. A country where the road spoils, fix it, you know, go fix it, not to buy SUV. I recall Peter Obi as governor of Honourable State, for Christ's sake, was using Peugeot 406. Today, everybody must use Lexus, so if it is no longer 470, it is 5, whatever they call it. In conclusion here, please, I say that my good brothers has made me speak. A man that has made so much sacrifice, the flag boy. I published a video one day. When I read the comment of that video, I nearly cried. Flag boy at the Supreme Court was beaten up by those paid with our taxpayers to protect him. Carrying not Labour Party but Nigerian flag. Think about it. The same thing that happened to our children at the Lekki toll gate.
carrying Nigerian flag, saying, "Arise, O compatriots." That's what they were saying. They were shot at. And here is a flag boy saying, "The judiciary, please do the right thing." That was his crime. To demand that the judiciary should do the right thing and deliver the right judgment. Rather than protect his right, he was told that he has no business in the 3-arm zone. For a lot of time, uniform na cloth na tailor dey sew am. The 3-arm zone, no be our tax they take load. So how can a citizen, a bona fide citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is not allowed to come in a place built with his money? This is what we fight for. And this is what we are fighting for. And this is what we must continue to fight for. In Nigeria, where we are all equal, you don't need to know anybody to become somebody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Obedient people, they do the talk. They do the talk. I think now politicians, they talk fast. Politicians don't talk. If I give this microphone to everybody, what is the time? To 11. Abba. So what we want to do now, we all want to take pictures. We want to do a photo shoot because if we start dance now, we're not going to fit. So dancing now, after, for those who not go home again, if you drink too much, make sure that you know how to drive properly or look for somewhere to sleep. Yes, we want to take some pictures. Okay, a question. Okay. Who are the obedients? Is it an objective question or a theory? Or do Sir, at this stage we'd like to have photographs. No, the alcohol is all a part of the picture. So let's just see if we can. No, there are lots of. No. There's nothing wrong with drinking alcohol. Jesus turned water into wine. He wasn't a man. He didn't turn water into water. He turned it into wine. I know. So with the drinks on the table, if Jesus was here now, he'd provide more drinks. Jesus was in fire. Please, let's have pictures with our Honourable. Where do we take, because we have to take it batch by batch, so how do we do it?